Well, he's holding that down for you.
Oh, good.
Bill's making this for our solar heater. He just walked through the hole. And anyway, he's going to put that shade cloth over this, cool it down. He does have holes up there to let the heat out. We got the inside window shut. And so it'll help cool that down. It'll still get hot, but the heat can escape from the top. So he's going to do that this morning. Hold it down, Sonny. Oh, it's getting me.
I gotta get some long screws. I need a couple.
Okay.
That board down. I'll be back.
And I'll show you our other glass panels. We got a whole bunch of them. That glass, it's a solar panel glass Bill took off a roof years ago for this guy, and it was just ordered them. He didn't want them, so we could probably do this whole wall, and if we did, we'd probably cook our house, because I had a thermometer inside, a plastic thermometer, and it melted our thermometer at 250. So we're figuring maybe it gets past 300 degrees. But if we had this whole wall full of them, our house would be super hot. This one pretty well takes care of it, because we do have the sunroom bringing in heat through the winter too. Sonny wants to see everything we do. He's a learning boy. This is where we got that solar glass. It looks like we got maybe 5 of them that we could do something with, but we don't need them. Now he just needs to tie it down so the wind don't blow it. Here's our little solar fan we put on it for last year, and it really worked good. And sometimes I have to stop and make sure it's on, because I can't hear it, and then I see it is on, but it helps blow all that heat out. I really like it. Whoop.
Yeah.
Being nice to get right here and bark at the neighbors, and they just laugh. Them darn old neighbors. I'll bark at them. And there's a hayfield over that way, and they cut the hay, and it smells so good. It smells like somebody cut their yard. Smells real good around here. He's got the other side tied in pretty good. Well, that looks good.
What I think I've mentioned it before, but for anybody that hasn't seen it, we seen this, or Susie actually found it. Young man on the Navajo reservation, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's where I've seen it.
A young fella come up with the idea. His family was real poor.
Well, I don't know if he come up with it or seen it. I'm not
He
sure
might
on
have,
that.
but anyway, he built one
He
for
built one.
their house because they lived in a remote area on the reservation. The Navajo
I think it was about
reservation.
4x4 or something.
Yeah, it's a big reservation north of here in Arizona and New Mexico. But all, you know, like she explained, all it is pop cans and making holes through it where the air heat always travels up. And if you get a flow, a current flow, you're actually supposed to vent into the bottom of your room to pull cool air off the floor and through that, heat it as it goes up and then back into the room again. But I didn't want to, I was experimenting with this. I didn't know how well it'd work. I didn't want to put any holes in our wall in case it didn't work. And I've got it up there just attached to the side of the house where I can take it down and repair the minor damage real easy. It's just up against the utility room window. This faces west, so it doesn't really start working until about 11 or 12. It starts getting a little bit of sun about 11 or 12, and around about noon. If it was facing the south, it would probably already be putting out 300 or 400 degrees because it'd be in direct sun from the south. The sun low in the in the south in the wintertime. It works real good. She said it gets from over 300 degrees. It depends on how long the sun's out on it. But we have to cover it in the summertime and vent it at the top. I put the vent caps in at the top to where we could vent the heat out, where it's just not continually getting hot in the summertime. And I put a shade cloth on it to repel some of the sunlight. And it seems to work pretty good. And it, other than the screws and the brackets to hold it against the wall, the L brackets and the anchor bolts, we bought some styrofoam, and it really didn't need that. If you use thick lumber for the sides, you're not going to lose a lot of heat. That's why I put it in there to try to direct the heat into the house, but it really gets too hot for the styrofoam, and I'm going to have to probably take it out of there. But I've got real thick lumber on the sides and on the top and on the bottom, so it contains the heat real well, and just vents into the utility room.
Yeah,
helps warm the house real well.
Can you imagine if we had this whole wall of that?
Well, if we had it on the south, we had two of them on the south wall. It would two of them would probably work.
Yeah.
And you'd use hardly any heat in this part of the country. We get a lot of dry heat, so they work good. But, and it doesn't look bad. It's fine with me.
Yeah, looks all right.
The electric people have come by and they, what is that? and then after I explain it to them, they, boy, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But it's just passive solar. And we do have that little solar fan and a little solar collector on the inside that we can plug in. And it circulates, it just, what it does is draw air up through there faster. And it heats real good going through, that's roughly about 7 foot tall by a little over 3 foot wide, I believe. And I did have the solar glass. It's actually clear, but it's called solar glass. I have some of them that I didn't have to buy. That would be an expense if you had, you know, put glass in there.
I think I counted 5 left.
We've got 5 left.
Yeah.
Because I dismantled some for somebody a long time ago, and they were just going to throw it all away, the solar panels on. And what they used to do in this part of the country, and it didn't work, they used solar panels to heat their water to heat the house. And the water is not good enough, and it corrodes the in the nearest big town. The water's terrible, and it would stop up the pipes. They'd have copper pipes running through the solar panels, and it wouldn't last. And there was a big deal about it. Oh, it's been 30 or 40 years ago when the government was backing solar then. And so there's a lot of houses in that town that they put these things up on top of the roof to heat their water. And they just get stopped up.
I don't even think you see it anymore.
You don't see it, but this was a big house, and I took down, I don't know, probably 15 of these panels, about that size. They're all aluminum and copper.
What size is that?
It's about a little over 3 foot by 7 foot, roughly, and they were on stands up on roofs facing the south, and they work good as long as the water would run through them.
Oh, I want to see if you agree with me.
What?
It works better with Coke cans and not Pepsi cans.
That's exactly right. There is one Budweiser can in there
Yeah,
somewhere.
right in the middle.
I put it right in the middle.
A Budweiser.
And it's not that we find these cans, so we pick them up and save them.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of them out in the barn. We used to go around campsites when we was riding or hiking, either one, and people, especially drunkards, are notorious trashers.
Yeah.
They leave things laying around, and we'd pick up stuff around, and it's just an overwhelming job. You try to do it to help, and it takes all of your time.
It does.
And we used to, when we were riding and hiking in the mountains a lot, on 2 or 3 times a week at least, we would go by campsites, and there was usually, not all of them, but there were beer cans and pop cans laying around.
Yeah.
And you could tell they was drunkards because they'd leave their axes and flashlights laying around too.
Yeah. Sometimes we find when they're standing by the fire, they pull out maybe a lighter or something.
Pull money out.
And they pull money out of their pocket.
Around the campfire, there'd be coins.
We'll go, like, there's a quarter.
So go around campsites,
Yeah.
wherever you're at, and look. Use a metal detector if you can. And, because they're standing around the fire, and they'd reach in their pocket for whatever, and change would come out with it, and just around the ring, campfire ring, a lot of them.
Where they stand close.
And or find where they use the bathroom out in the woods.
Yeah, where they drop money.
Yeah, and they drop money out there in the woods. And flashlights.
Yeah, we found a lot of flashlights and hatchets.
Axes.
Well, yeah.
Double bit axes. But anyway, that's where I got the panels at. And they're about, I think, either 1/4 or 3/8 thick, and it's safety glass. If you break it, it just comes off in little pieces like a windshield. So they're not dangerous. They might be expensive, but I just got lucky and
yeah, it was lucky.
Got paid to take them off the roof, and they were going to throw them away. And
is that plastic?
so I asked them if I could have them.
Was that plastic?
No, it's a bone.
Oh.
And they just wanted to get them out of their place.
Yeah.
And so I held them here for years. I always had this idea. I had an idea that to use an old water heater. That was the original idea. I seen it on a magazine called Mother Earth News back in the 60s, in the early 70s, I guess. And you fill a old water, you got to gut it and open it up, but the tank inside, and you paint it black and fill it with rocks and set it inside a glassed-in area on the south side of your house, and have a vent coming from inside from the floor, about floor level, to get the cool air off the floor, and then it vents to the top, back out through the old water heater, and it's real good passive solar. I've never seen anybody do it other than that.
Yeah, I like this idea. It's so simple.
Yeah, and this kind of blends in. It doesn't look real bad with the house.
Yeah.
And we probably won't ever do any more. I don't want to make any holes in the wall.
Yeah.
That I have to go back and fix. And this is easy repaired if I have to take it down. I don't know why I would. It works good, and it'll last for a long time. This trim here, I'm gonna have to renew it. It's kind of getting dried out and brittle. So next year I'll probably have to buy some trim. And
what you got, Bill?
She's helping.
She's just showing
Let me
Daddy
see.
all her treasures. Look at this, Daddy. You want
Can I have
that?
it? Okay. You come up here. Come on.
I don't think she'll climb.
Tiger will climb them ladders.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put the ladder up. I gotta get to work.
On to another project. Whoa. That little fan I showed you, we got it from Amazon. So the other day we got a message from Amazon that we're doing poorly on our affiliated link, and we got 90 days to do something about it, and they're gonna shut us off. I told Bill, I said, well, we're just not big enough to have one of them, and we don't really push, talk about the stuff on Amazon like other people do. So if it goes off, it goes off. So when I get a bigger channel in a few more years, I'll try it again if they shut us off, and to see if it will work. So I appreciate anybody that has tried to use our Amazon link. I do appreciate it. I know Barb says she does when she orders something, but I think you when you get on Amazon, it's 180 days, and then they'll let you know if you're doing good or bad. So we're doing bad. You got 90 more days, they said. You're going to be shut off. So that's how it is. And if we are, I'll just, like I said, if our channel grows, I'll put it back on someday and try it again if they allow us to do it again. So I appreciate y'all coming by, and thanks for watching from Out West Homestead. Bye.